at all. So maybe he has a point. All right, so it was a mix of Broadway and basketball. I like the way that sounds. On his home turf, Carmelo Anthony struggled to 14 points on 6 of 20 shooting for the East in what may have been his final game of the season. But he played 30 minutes, even though he's been battling a sore knee for much of the season, and he may or may not opt for surgery. The Knicks have the worst record in the league at 10-43. So, Stephen A., you've been a proponent of him shutting it down. How would it look now, though, if Carmelo Anthony decided to shut it down after the All-Star game?
Well, it wouldn't look too good now. I'll openly admit that, because you played 30 minutes last night. I didn't expect him to play more than 5 or 10 minutes. I know he wanted to be the face of All-Star Weekend representing the New York area. It was incredibly important to him. I thought that after he did everything, did practically every interview, for crying out loud, was everywhere. You just expected him to, once game time rolled around, to play about 5 or 10 minutes and then call it an evening. But he played 30 minutes. He launched 20 shots or so. He hit about 6 of them, finished with about 14 points, played far too much more than anybody anticipated he would. And if you're telling New Yorkers that you need to shut it down for the rest of the season, then it's hard to tell them that fresh off of 30 minutes in the All-Star game last night, a meaningless exhibition game. Made absolutely no sense whatsoever, in my opinion. But I know that he still wants to play. And when he and I spoke, he's of the mindset that he doesn't know what he's going to do. We all know that the New York Knicks, I'm here to tell you, the New York Knicks have wanted him to shut it down for weeks. He refused to do so. You know, I wanted him to shut it down weeks ago. He refused to do so. All-Star festivities meant that much to him. With the Knicks 10-43, he really doesn't need to jeopardize himself, do anything. And as far as I'm concerned, from a Knicks future standpoint, I wouldn't blame him one bit for sitting down and calling it quits for the rest of the year, so he can make sure he does everything he possibly can to be ready for the next 4 years of his deal in New York. The problem is that's pretty hard to sell when you just elected to play 30 minutes of meaningless basketball. If you elect to do that, how are you going to sit down for what some would term anyway meaningful basketball, because the regular season resumes Thursday night? I don't know how you pull that off after playing 30 minutes. And to be quite honest with you, I'm shocked that he clearly didn't think about that before allowing himself to be played for 30 minutes last night. But it is what it is.
So, Stephen A., what's your gut feeling from talking to him, talking to Knicks insiders? How much does he need surgery?
My gut feeling is that he needs surgery, but if you know anything about Melo, Skip, and I've known him for years, obviously, he can't stand going under the knife. He'd rather take care of something with rest than being cut open. He just does not have an affinity for that at all. He tries to avoid that at all costs. The mindset is that that's not going to be possible this time around. I'd be shocked if he played 2 more games. Matter of fact, I would have bet that he would not have played another game after All-Star Weekend, and I'm still of that mindset. It's just that after playing 30 minutes last night, if he elects not to play another game this season, he's going to get hit hard in a court of PR because he shouldn't have played that many minutes last night.
I am so with you on this. I tweeted about it in the fourth quarter. I have been a proponent that he should just suck it up, tough it out, play the rest of the year, if for nothing else, for the sake of those courtside season ticket holders who paid thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars for those seats. The shock of the night for me, Stephen A., was Carmelo Anthony. If he had played 0 minutes, if he had just made his announcement before the game, thank you all, great city, great game, that would have been great by me. I didn't expect him to play 1 minute. To your point, I thought max 5, 6, 7 minutes, just a quick appearance, just for the sake of the hometown fans. And yet, to piggyback your point, 30 minutes, hoisting 20 shots. I know everybody tried to feed him so he could get hot from 3. He shot 2 for 13 from 3, but he was trying. And I don't think his knee was the reason he was missing from 3. Just thought he was a little over-eager, over-anxious to make a few for the sake of the hometown fans, because it was supposed to be his home and his stage. But, man, now, as you point out, this is tough, because he looked like he was moving pretty well last night. I didn't see any limp. I didn't see a lack of explosion. For a while, he got stuck in the fourth quarter defending DeMarcus Cousins, and it looked like he was banging with him, and he out-rebounded him a couple times and stuck it back in, and I don't know. And again, you say he doesn't like to get cut open. It looks to me like the worst thing that could be going on with his knee right now is that he has a slightly torn cartilage, meniscus. And to go in and clean that up, clip it a little bit, would be the arthroscopic kind of surgery that you don't have to get cut open for that. Obviously, that's like a thing of the past. But it's not a rough surgery. You could bounce back, I think, again, if the surgery goes right, you could be back within a month or so from that. So I don't know. I think he's stuck in a really tough PR spot because we've had others on the show who said great players just play. You just do it because you love basketball and you're being paid $20-odd million, so you just play. So I'm with you. I think he just played his way right into a PR quandary, and he's going to take a beating if he decides to shut it down now because it's going to look like he just doesn't want to associate now for the rest of the year with the losers that are the New York Knicks.
Well, in fairness to him, the New York Knicks wanted him to sit out weeks ago, for what I'm told, and he refused to do it. I mean, you know what my position has been on all of this. He refused to do it. And even then, everybody was speculating about him shutting it down, but it wasn't until a few days before the All-Star weekend that he said he was considering it because he had re-aggravated that left knee of his. But he has been resistant to sitting down all year long. And so I got to give him credit for that. It's not something he appears to want to do. It's just that if you know that the likelihood is that you're going to call it quits for the season because of the soreness that continues to linger, how do you allow yourself to play 30 minutes in a meaningless All-Star game? You just don't do that. And that's why I think he made a mistake. I have no problem with him even starting it. But, come on now. Why do you play 30 minutes?
All right, Stephen A.,
I'm with you.
Let me get your take on this. Our Tim McMahon is reporting, and the New York Daily News as well, that Amari Stoudemire